Hello, I'm Brian Davis with Brian Carpenter's Guide Service. Today we're going to be talking about a slip float rig. Slip float rig is basically used during crappie fishing if you're presenting a live bait such as a minnow. It can be used with a jig sometimes with great success depending on the situation. But the basic slip float rig to me takes me back to the days when I was a kid. There's something magical about watching the bobber go underneath the water and you know there's a crappie on the bottom of it, or a brim when we were a kid. So just wanted to demonstrate how we set that up and show you the advantages of having the slip float rig versus a regular bobber. The difference in the slip float rig is we have a stopper, and you'll see the purpose of that in just a minute. And it actually is what's going to help you control the depth. But step one in putting this rig together is going to be to put your bobber stop on. These come in a wide variety of styles. I like the little rubber ones, but you can get them at any sporting goods store, even Walmart, Bass Pro Shops. But the first step is going to be to take the wire that comes with the bobber stop. You'll slide your line through there, and then just want to pull the rubber stopper and the bead up over your line, and your product there is going to look like that. The rubber goes on the top toward your rod end, and you got the bead. The next step is going to be to slide the line through your slip float, and the difference between the slip float is we don't have a way of actually attaching or tying it onto the line like you do with a regular bobber. It's got a hole that goes all the way through the center of the floater. So we're going to slide our line down through the center of this. Sometimes it can be a little bit tedious, especially if you're doing it on a windy day, but hopefully we got these set up the night before. So we're going to push the line through all the way until it comes out the bottom. Now the stage we're at looks like this, where we've got the stopper, the bead, now the floater. Next step is going to be to tie the hook on. I usually tie a Palomar knot. Some people will tie a fisherman's knot or whatever you like. I'm going to tie a knot. Got that down. I'm going to trim our tag end. Alright, so now what we've got is stopper, bead, floater, hook, and then the last step is to put some weight on, not too much, just a little bit to get your bait to go down just a little bit. Crimp that on. I usually like to put my sinker about anywhere from 6 to 8 inches above my hook. So now, when we reel this up and get ready to cast, what we've got looks like this. And now, if we want to change the depth that we're fishing at, all we've got to do is slide the rubber stopper up or down the line, depending on the depth that we want to present our bait. Now, the best part about the slip float rig is if I want to get really deep, say I'm trying to catch fish in 7-8 feet of water, if I've got a normal floater rig on here, I've got to have 7 or 8 feet of line out, and it makes it very difficult to cast. But when I'm using the bobber stop on the slip float, all I've got to do is slide my stopper up to the desired depth that I want to present my bait. Once I get that up there, if it's 6 or 8 or 10 feet, even 12 feet, I can actually roll the line up in the spool. The stopper comes up through the eyes. Now I've just got my basic rig here. And it makes it very easy to cast that without having a huge leader on us. So now we adjust the depth to as deep as we want it. We can even go 6, 8, 10 feet. We can turn the handle, and actually the bobber stop will actually go up in the eyes. And now all that we're having to deal with to cast is just the length that we normally would throw our floater. And we can flip that out there. The bobber stop will actually stop the floater, the weight will pull it all the way down, and we can actually fish a bait 6, 8, 10 feet down without having to deal with that huge amount of line out there that we're trying to cast. It makes it a lot easier to present a bait at a little bit deeper depth. I'm Ryan Davis, and that's your Brian Carper Tip of the Week.